Next time you need to get work done on your home, or your car, or your garden, make sure you choose a trader you can trust. And don't just choose any trader, choose a Which? Trusted trader. Our trading standards professionals only endorse traders who've passed our rigorous assessment that includes credit reports, customer satisfaction surveys, reference checks, and interviews. When we say a trader's good enough to display our Which? Trusted trader logo, you can trust us. But don't take our word for it. Search Which? Trusted Traders online to see our directory of around 4,000 traders. Every customer review you read there is verified genuine by our moderators, so you can choose with confidence. To find a local trader you can trust, search Which? Trusted Traders or go to which.co.uk/traders. That's which.co.uk/traders. Everybody needs a trader they can trust.
Hello, it's producer James here. Now, as you wait until the next episode of Which Money that's out on Friday, today you're going to hear the Which Cars podcast. Now, this is something brand new from Which as I sit down with our cars team to learn more about motoring in 2025. Each year, Which publishes a car guide jam-packed full of reviews, features and exclusive research. And this year, as an added bonus, we've recorded a podcast to find out even more info that we couldn't squeeze inside of those 52 pages. We analyse our exclusive data that shows that new cars are spending more time off the road than older ones, demystifying the confusing world of car finance, and we also answer some of your questions. Now, we won't hear the full episode as it's exclusively available to Which members, but if you like what you hear, then as a special gift to podcast listeners, you can get a whopping 50% off a Which membership. Not only would that allow you to listen to the full episode, but you'd also get access to all of our product reviews, including our car reviews, as well as the app, the monthly magazine, and loads more. There's a link in the show notes for you to snap up a membership at that specially reduced price, as well as the link to listen to the podcast in full. But for now, here's what happened when I sat down with Will Stapley, Michael Passingham and Dino Burati from the Which Cars team. Hello and welcome to the Which Cars podcast. I'm James Rowe and this is the first podcast that's exclusively available to you, our Which members.
The Tesla Model S, 76% of owners reported some kind of fault in those 12 months. But it only spent, on average, 2.7 days off the road, which is well below average. And people really like their Model S's, even if they're going wrong.
Unless you're desperate to get a car in exactly the colour or specification you want, there are plenty of low mileage used cars on the market with significant discounts on their new price. And if they're from a brand, say like Toyota or MG, which offer long warranties, then it can actually be quite a good option buying used because you'll still have that manufacturer cover behind you.
Car manufacturers want to make life easier for the driver, so they add these LED or laser headlights that illuminate the road ahead like never before, which is great if you're driving a car, not so great if you're on the receiving end coming the other way.
Welcome along to this special podcast, exclusively available for Which members, just like you. If you're tuning in, then hopefully you'll have already had a chance to thumb through the excellent 2025 Which Car Guide. It will have landed on your doormat or in your inbox alongside the February Which magazine. Well, this is the perfect accompaniment to that, and joining me are three of the big brains behind it from our cars team. It's Will Stapley. Hello, Will.
Hey, good to be here.
Michael Passingham. Hello, Michael.
Hi, how's it going?
Very good, thanks. And finally, Dino Burati. Hello, Dino.
Hello, everybody.
Glad to have you all here. Now, we're going to be lifting the lid on the car guide shortly, uncovering even more info that we couldn't fit into the magazine. We'll also be answering some of your burning motoring questions. But first, Will, you're the cars editor here at Which. What does a day in your life usually look like? And I'm not going to accept the answer, every day is different.
No, well, it is different, but ordinarily I'll be obviously editing car reviews, news and advice from the guys here, deciding what kind of world-class content we're going to tackle next. You might also find me editing a few tech areas as well. It's another job I've got at Which, but it's predominantly cars. And my job is ultimately to act as a Which member's representative. So I'll be asking these guys the kind of questions that you at home will want to know the answer to, and avoiding we don't get bogged down in any of the jargon that can sometimes cloud cars content, not at Which, obviously.
Michael, how do you fit into the team?
Yeah, so I'm one of the researchers, so I help manage the test, write up the reviews, and also work on the content that Will asks us to write, among many other things, like recording podcasts.
Absolutely. And Dino as well, how do you fit into the wider team?
Yes, I'm the other cars researcher, so like Michael, I'll be looking after our cars tests, writing reviews, and sourcing content out for Will, such as advice guides and news stories, and doing other things like the podcast you see here and videos.
You mentioned test driving cars. It's not always sitting behind the wheel. I guess we'll touch on how we test cars here at Which a little bit later on. But you do drive some of the time, right? What have you been driving lately? Will, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I don't get in as many cars as these guys, which is natural and the right thing to do. But I have had a couple of interesting Mercedes in recently. The first being a CLE, which is kind of a convertible, sporty car. It's completely impractical for family use, obviously, but as a family, we enjoy driving it. It's got these nice little, they're called air scarves that sit just in the headrest of the front and the passenger seat, the driver and the passenger seat, and it blows hot air around your neck to keep you warm. Why you'd want to do this instead of just putting the roof up? Anyone's guess? I guess in my case, because the kids demanded, we always drove with the roof down, despite it being freezing. So we had a lot of fun irritating the neighbours, trying out the sound system and all the flashy LED lights that you get inside the car. So that's it's fun. And actually I had a nice feature that I don't usually like in cars, and that's the synthetic engine noise. You get it in a few electric cars to make you feel like you're driving a petrol car, if you'd want to. In this one, it just added a bit of rumble to the engine inside the cabin, and I actually quite liked it. I hated myself for liking it, but I did quite like it.
Who enjoyed it more, you or the kids?
It's got to be the kids. They were screaming their heads off in the back, absolutely loving it. So it was expensive. We're not getting one.
Dino, what about you? What have you been driving lately?
Yeah, so one of the cars I've been driving recently is the plug-in hybrid version of the very popular Hyundai Tucson. It's one of the UK's best-selling cars, and it's available as a petrol mild hybrid, a petrol full hybrid, the plug-in hybrid version I drove, and there's also a diesel model, but that's not sold in the UK. Like all plug-in hybrids, the Tucson has a pressurised fuel tank. That's because if you're driving as a plug-in hybrid, there's a chance you might not use the petrol for a very long time or the engine. So to store the petrol better, the fuel tank is pressurised, which has its drawbacks. Firstly, because I don't drive many plug-in hybrids, you've got to always remember that to open the fuel cap when you're filling the car with petrol, you've got to press a button to depressurise the tank. This isn't always easy because, as I found out when I was trying to fill it up once, I couldn't find the button. And then when I did, after I've got the manual out of the glove box, it wouldn't work. So I had to back off the petrol pump I was at, find somewhere to park, and then try and get the fuel filler cap open with the button, locking and unlocking the car to try and reset it. And then after about 5 minutes of trying, it finally opened the fuel filler cap. So I was able to fill it up with petrol finally.
That's anxiety inducing for me. If it was me, I probably would have just gone home and said, well, I'm not getting any fuel. We're not driving ever again. I'm done. I actually had this with an electric car as well. I couldn't figure out how to release the charging cable. It was my first electric car charging experience. And yeah, again, it was just like other people were in the car park kind of vaguely side-eyeing me as I was pulling as hard as I can on the on the charging port. So yeah, I get your pain.
It's interesting. It also highlights the need, if you're driving a car you're not familiar with, work out all these things before. I'm not having a go at you, Dean. I do the same. But work out all these kind of basic functions. I got in a Mini a while ago. I couldn't start the thing. It had just been dropped off. It was blocking a neighbour's drive. They said, could you move it, please? Oh, yeah, sure. Where's the start button? Obviously, it's this little key-style thing in the middle of the central console. But, you look an idiot.
It's nice to know that these sort of things happen to experts like you and not just like ordinary car drivers like the rest of us. Mike, and finally, what about you? What have you been driving lately?
So yesterday, actually, I just had a Hyundai Ioniq 5N dropped off at my house, which is a sort of medium-sized electric car that has 650 horsepower, which is a lot, and four-wheel drive. I gave it a little road test yesterday for a brief time. I was looking through the settings, and I did find a setting to assist you with drifting, which I was quite surprised to see. I realise it's a sporty car, but it does say you only use it at the track. You know, I don't imagine many people will be using it, but I guess it's there.
It's interesting though. If you're spending enough money to buy one of these cars, chances are you're going to try it out and you're going to try these features. And it does make you think, should manufacturers be putting features like this? I had an EQS, Mercedes EQS a while ago, had a race start mode. It just says, you on public roads or on a racetrack? it doesn't mean you press what you want and give it a go. It does make you wonder whether there should be more controls over these kind of modes on cars that are going to be driven on public roads.
Yeah, indeed. I was very surprised to see it, although my daughter really likes the car because it's blue and orange, like Blippi. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Blippi. Maybe some listeners are. He's a kids online character who kids seem to like a lot for some reason. So that's how to get her to enjoy this car. It's the Blippi Mobile.
There we go then. That was just a snippet of the Which Cars podcast as we got to know Will, Michael and Dino from the Which Cars team. The full episode is exclusively available to Which members. We delve inside the 2025 Which Car Guide, look at our exclusive research into car reliability, explain the confusing world of car finance and answer some listener questions. If you're a Which member, you can listen to it in full by clicking the link in the show notes. And if you're not already a member, then head to which.co.uk/podcast offer to join for 50% off the usual price. Then you too can listen to the full episode. But now we've just recorded the next episode of Which Money, and it'll be dropping onto your feed on Friday as usual. So we'll see you then.
Saving for retirement can feel daunting. The same goes for managing your money once you've stopped working. That's why we've created an 8-week newsletter series breaking down what you need to consider, both pre and post-retirement, into bite-sized chunks. If you sign up to our free retirement newsletters, for 8 weeks we'll send you an email full of expert guidance to help you take control of your retirement planning and give you the confidence to make smart decisions. We'll help you get to grips with your pension, teach you how to boost your income, and explain more about care options. It doesn't matter when you sign up either. Your 8 weeks of advice will start whenever you sign up. So what are you waiting for? Head to which.co.uk/retirement newsletters, all one word, to get up to speed on everything you need to know for retirement.